Welcome back to all of you lovely, lovely listeners. I'm your host, Matthew, and this is episode 128 of the Chaos Ball Podcast. This one is a special episode. I had both my brothers on this one. I unveiled a project I've been working on for a little while. We play a really fun guessing game relating to said project. We chatted for a long time. This is a long one, but we went down Jerry Dipoto trade memory lane. We vamped about the Mariners for like the last half hour. We had a ton of fun. Like, this was awesome. It is a long one, but for a good reason. We just got wrapped up in chatting. This is probably my most favorite episode I've ever done on this podcast. But without further ado, I'll give you the rest of this episode. But as always, I really appreciate you tuning in. So thank you very much. But here's the rest of the episode. All right. And now I welcome on my two older brothers to the podcast, my first ever guests on the Chaos Ball podcast. It took me 129 episodes, and I have people on the podcast now. Should have had them on earlier, but I welcome them on now. I'm going to play a little game with them. We're going to chat about the Mariners, give our takes on the ongoing Randy Dobnak spring training start that is currently happening. But hey, guys, how you doing?
Hi, Matthew. Thanks for having us on. Here, let me pull up my at-bat app just to keep track of Randy, see what he's doing, Luke Raley just singled off of Jay Franco. Not sure who that is for the Reds. So
No clue.
We're officially in spring training.
Good. Thank you, Tyler. Keep us updated.
Yeah.
Hey guys, happy to be here. Happy to be on the podcast.
Yeah, this is exciting. And we're all obviously bonded by blood, but we're also bonded by the fact that our parents moved to Bellevue, Washington 25 years ago, and we've been Mariners fans ever since. So I feel like we all share a kinship of Mariners suffering as well, obviously, with all of you listening. But I just want to get into it. So today, the game I have you guys playing, I didn't tell you guys what this game was. I didn't want you doing any pre-work. But I did text you both about this months ago. Like, it was probably in like November. I texted you that I wanted to calculate the net WAR of every single Jerry Dipoto trade. And the past like month and change, I've done that.
Oh my God.
I've calculated both the F WAR and baseball reference WAR of every Jerry Dipoto trade. That's 199 trades. And
he's one away from 200.
Yeah, he's one away from 200. Thankfully, I mean, the last like all the trades recently, there's no net WAR from them because baseball hasn't been played. But he's one away from 200. I hope he makes it a big one because he just made his 199th, which was Josh Simpson from the Marlins for cash.
Of course.
It'll
just be another reliever I've never heard of. So
I definitely remember that.
Yeah, he's gonna be. Listen, he'll throw some innings this year. I'm sure he's a lefty. But yeah, we marched towards 200. I do want to shout out Jordan Schusterman as well because this would not have been possible without the Google Sheet Jerry Dipoto trade tracker that he keeps up. So the legwork was done already for at least the trades being on a sheet for me, which was really nice. I just had to go in and actually find the WAR that these guys have put up. And I'm going to quiz you on some of his worst trades and some of his best trades by net F WAR and give you a choice to pick between two. And you're going to have to figure out which one is worse, which one's better.
Okay. So is this going to be like, are we competing against each other or is it like?
I'll keep track of your points, but it's more just a fun game that I want you guys to guess and go down memory lane a bit because these go all the way back. Some of his worst trades he's ever made were within the first couple months of him being the general manager of the Mariners.
Yeah, just for some context, he took over in, what was it, the end of 2015?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just out of college. You were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean was like halfway through college, basically. So it's been more than 10 years with Jerry in charge, and I think it's finally he has the organization where he's always hoped it would be. which I don't know, maybe as an Arsenal fan, I'm just weirdly lucky to have franchises that have let their despotic people in charge stay in charge for a long time. Maybe patience is a virtue, but man, you're gonna throw some trades at me as a nerd that I have no recollection of. So let's get to it.
Yeah. There's the thing with a lot of these trades is most of them are pretty inconsequential on like a war perspective because there's so many trades that so many are just like nothing really netted out from them. There's a lot of ones where cash went one way, a player went another way. That player never ended up making the majors. Like there's a ton of those in here. But obviously there's some of his famous trades in here as well. I've taken his 10 worst by net F war and 10 best trades that I'm gonna tell you guys about. And I'm just doing F war, but I will post this sheet online when this podcast comes out too. If you want to look at the baseball reference war, but for our purposes, this is just fan graphs. And then the methodology around this. So this, I got this from Out of the Park Baseball. Actually, they do this for you when you're a GM. They give you like a decision history screen that gives you your net war from past trades, so you can see how you've done. Obviously, it's not the end all be all. It's not like did he win the trade, did he lose the trade. A good example of it not being like the end all be all of winning a trade. Jerry Dipoto traded for Carlos Santana on June 27th, 2022. He traded Wyatt Mills and William Fleming, and his net F war from that trade was a positive 0.5 F war. But like the impact of that Carlos Santana trade was huge.
The intangibles.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you trade for a reliever at the deadline. That's never the war is never going to fully like tell you the story of how good or bad that trade was.
And that was the second time he acquired Carlos Santana too.
Yes,
which is I don't think Santana ever played for the Mariners, so please, don't include that trade.
No. One. that was just an example. Okay. But we'll get into it. But first, do you remember the first trade he ever made as a general manager of the Mariners?
Not a clue.
It was with the Rays. Shocking.
Of course it was.
Of course it was with the Rays. Was Boog Powell involved?
He was.
Boog Powell.
Which was one of the two trades he was involved in with Jerry.
Yeah.
He was involved.
I don't remember who they traded.
Okay, this was November 5th, 2015. They traded away Danny Farquhar, Brad Miller, and Logan Morrison.
That was his first one?
Yeah, Nate Carnes, Boog Powell, and CJ Raffenhauser.
Okay.
And that's going to come up today. That's actually in his top 10 of worst trades by war. So we'll put that up against another one.
Wait. Nate Carnes. Are any of these people in the majors?
Oh, those ones?
Okay, right. I mean, it's pretty old.
Danny Farquhar's a coach right now for the Mariners. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, none of those guys are in the majors.
I'm sure. I think Cup of Lomo is probably like
Cup of Lomo.
Like that was his Twitter. That was his Twitter handle.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think I would not be shocked if he's down like the really terrible LLM or like blood transfusion work that Bryce Harper's involved with.
Oh yeah. He's hooking the Phillies clubhouse up with their raw milk, is what you're saying?
Yeah, raw milk to go with the cup of Lomo.
The oxygenated blood.
Yeah.
They just got the what's it called? The hyperbaric chambers.
Oh yeah.
Over there. The people in the chambers get some 100% oxygen going.
The Phillies clubhouse, they're pushing the limits of science as we know it. Okay, but one more thing before I get into it. So this is the net war of this trade specifically, which means this is just the war that these guys acquired on the Mariners and how like the war was calculated on the team that they traded for. So an example, this will come up too. Jerry traded away Pablo Lopez at one point. Yep. His war with the Marlins counts in this calculation, but his WAR with the Twins does not, because that's another trade removed from this.
Okay, so it's the teams that were a part of the trade.
Yes, so we're just analyzing the trade itself and those two teams involved here instead of like their career, like WAR given up by Jerry.
That's a good clarification.
Because that would be a big loss, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Freddie Peralta is a much worse loss considering he was also traded.
Yes, he was
for Adam Lind.
Yes.
So
and that, that's a perfect segue into the start of this game. So we're going to start with the top 10 worst trades he's ever made by Net Fangraphs WAR. And I've taken the 2 worst trades ever by my calculation. The first one, December 9th, 2015, his 9th trade ever, was a trade with the Brewers that you just mentioned. It was acquiring Adam Lind for Carlos Herrera, Daniel Masaki, and Freddie Peralta. And this is up against his 14th trade ever, which was June 19th, 2016, the famous Chris Taylor trade with the Dodgers in exchange for Zach Lee. Which trade do you think is worse for him in this calculation?
Do we?
I mean, does the Freddie Peralta WAR go for his entire time with Milwaukee?
Yeah, because they've had him the whole time.
Oh boy.
And negative WAR also counts in this as well.
Right.
Oh. So Peralta was there, this will count for 8-9 years?
I don't think Peralta debuted until like 2018. Can we get a clarification on his debut year?
I'll give that to you right now.
I've been a Peralta fan since Nam and have had him on our Dynasty League team since at least 2019.
2018 is when he debuted.
Right. Yeah, the Brewers lost in the NLCS that year to the Dodgers, and he was up. Yeah.
7 years, probably accruing. Okay. But then, who are the guys that they got for that?
Adam Lind.
Okay.
Jesus
cool.
Christ. I'm gonna go with Chris Taylor.
Really?
Just because Zach Lee was so bad. Lind was bad too, but also Taylor had a couple All-Star seasons. We can't really count postseason.
Postseason is not included here.
And Peralta also had a couple years there where he wasn't a full starter. So if he's averaging, I bet Peralta's at around like 20-ish WAR for his career. Well, it's close.
I guess I'm having a hard time imagining how much more Chris Taylor could have accrued.
I think Chris Taylor probably they're close. I'm going to go with.
But
I'm going to go with.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with Chris Taylor.
I think Zach Lee did he ever pitch in the majors for the Mariners?
He did not.
Okay, so it's going up against Holden, a bunch of nothing here. So, no, I'm gonna go with Peralta still.
Sean is correct.
Wow.
It is Freddie Peralta by 1.1 F WAR.
Come on.
So Freddie Peralta has put up 17. He did put up 17.8 F WAR for the Brewers since 2018. Adam Lind had negative 0.1 for the Mariners.
Oh boy.
And then Chris Taylor, Zach Lee, never debuted, so that's a 0. And Chris Taylor put up 16.8 F WAR for the Dodgers. So those are his 2 worst trades ever. Five trades apart from each other, and within his first calendar year as the Mariners GM.
Good for Chris Taylor. I'll say that. That's solid.
Yeah, especially if you factor in postseason. That's actually a massive loss for a team that could have used Chris Taylor in like 2017. That would have been helpful.
Could have used anybody in return for that, I guess. But
or a pitcher who pitched for the Mariners. He pitched in Tacoma is where Zach Lee ended up. So okay.
He must have been in Tacoma while I was in Tacoma. I should have gone and seen him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you could have seen Zach Lee.
Yeah. Wow, that was really close.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I almost got Peralta's WAR exactly right.
You did. Well, and so Freddie Peralta, that trade is the consensus across Baseball Reference and Fangraphs, Jerry's worst trade ever by net WAR. They both agree on that is his worst one.
Okay.
But it's done now because Freddie Peralta's off the Brewers. So it's now we can wrap a bow in it until another trade surpasses it.
now it's the Mets' problem. I'm sure it'll go well.
Yeah. All right.
Pitching goes well over there.
It generally does. I think they'll be fine. All right. Next two trades involves the Mets because we're talking about the infamous December 3rd, 2018 trade with the Mets, the Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz trade for Jay Bruce, Anthony Swarzak, Justin Dunn, Jared Kelenic, and Gerson, is it Bautista?
Yeah.
That trade versus the famous trade with the D-backs on November 23rd, 2016, the Ketel Marte, Taiwan Walker trade for Gene Segura, Mitch Haniger, and Zach Curtis. Which trade do you think is worse?
So worse for the Mariners side.
You say the first trade again in full?
Yes, the Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz for Jay Bruce, Anthony Swarzak, Justin Dunn, Jared Kelenic, and Gerson Bautista.
Jay Bruce, one of Sean's former favorite fantasy players.
His name's Jay Bruce.
That's insane.
One of my original team names.
Yep. All right, so let me think about this. So Haniger had an incredible season in 2018, was decent in 16, got his ball knocked off his sack in 2017, I think. Also was really good in 2021. So Haniger has 2 really good years. Ketel has become a perennial all-star and one of the 10 best hitters in the league when he's healthy. And man, it's been 10 years. Cano did almost nothing for the Mets. Diaz was awful, but by F-WAR, if we're going by F-WAR, even his awful season was probably not as bad as Baseball Reference. Who else was in the D-backs trade? It was Haniger and Marte and Taiwan.
Yeah, Taiwan and Marte went to the D-backs.
Right.
For Segura, Haniger, and then Zach
Gene
Curtis.
Segura.
And Segura had a decent couple years with the M's before apparently he was a clubhouse cancer and they shipped him off in the J.P. Crawford trade. So I'm going to go Ketel is the big wild card here. Sean, do you have a lean?
I mean, no. I mean, you're just naming where the Gene Segura got traded, and just I don't know. This is why like your brain is crazy to me. Just naming the trades of the trades.
That trade will come up later too.
I think it's a certain punishment. It's a certain punishment that my brain works like this, and then Jerry became the GM of my favorite team because like that's not. It's like oh you like weird trade trees. I'll give you weird trade trees. I think the Mets did not accrue enough WAR to make it worse for the Mariners. So I'm going to say the D-backs trade is worse.
Okay,
Sean,
say the Mets one. Say the Mets one again. I'm going to calculate it all in my head.
Robinson Cano.
Yeah.
And Edwin Diaz.
Yeah.
For Jay Bruce, Anthony Swarzak, Justin Dunn, Jared Kelenic, and Gerson Bautista.
Okay, so there's like nothing in. I mean, some relievers, sure, but like not Edwin Diaz relief.
It's a whole lot of nothing.
The Mets got
the logic in my head.
And Jay Bruce, I don't even remember Jay Bruce being on the team.
So he was on that weird 2019 team that started off really hot with like Domingo Santana and Daniel Vogelbach.
Domingo Santana,
and he was later traded in June.
Yeah, he was.
Year.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with the Mets one because Cano doesn't even have to. Edwin Diaz had to have had like a pretty massive WAR season, and they got no WAR back for that.
I think Diaz. My logic. I'm gonna go with the D-backs because I think Ketel's put up enough value that's even supersedes like the good Haniger and Segura seasons combined. I don't think Diaz, because he's a closer, I'd guess as a Met he's only put up 12 wins at most because he also missed a full season because he tore his ACL. So I'm going to go with the D-backs. Trade being worse.
You were correct, Tyler. Your logic is sound there. I think if Edwin ended up pitching another full season instead of getting hurt in the WBC,
not celebrating.
Yeah, it would have been much closer, but the D-backs trade is 4 WAR worse than the Mets trade because Ketel Marte has put up
Substantial.
30.5 F4.
Yeah, I would do it.
Taiwan Walker's put up 2.6, but they got back 7.3 from Gene Segura and 11.6 from Mitch Haniger, but that still
doesn't make up the ground.
And I think
negative.
this is probably by the end of this year going to be Jerry's worst trade because Ketel is still on the D-backs unless he gets traded, I guess. The Mets trade was negative 10.3 WAR, so still bad. They got 0.8 F4 from that trade from all of those players.
Good Lord.
And Edwin Diaz, Robinson Cano put up 2 WAR with the Mets. Edwin Diaz has put up 9.1 with the Mets.
Okay, that's a good amount from Diaz. Who was the biggest contributor to our positive WAR from that trade?
It was Jared Kelenic with 0.8. Which is pretty much all of his 2022 season, more or less.
He was the prince that was promised.
There was so much hope wrapped in that trade.
He was one of the princes that was promised.
There was so much hope in that trade.
It sounds good.
It does. It sounded great on paper, but
how old was Cano at that point?
33.
I want to say 33. Yeah. Let's see. That was his 36 season.
Oh, wow. He was a lot older.
2019, he was 36.
Yeah, because when they signed him, his first year was 2014, and he was already 30.
He was 31. He hit the very traditional free agent year for a guy like that, 31, after coming up a little bit later. Not traditional anymore.
So 2018 is when he got suspended for PEDs for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And he was raking that year. And he honestly, the Cano and Cruz signings for the money, not a problem.
No, people hate on those a lot, and I think it's a good litmus test for if you know ball. That Cano deal was great. They overpaid a little bit, but it ended up excellent for the Mariners. They just had other issues.
I can't tell you at the time, having a literal competent hitter as a Mariners fan was incredible.
Yeah. Okay, that one was close.
Anybody will work.
Yeah. That one was close.
So you're telling me that Zach Curtis didn't contribute at all?
He put up a negative 0.1 F4 for the Mariners.
Oh, he pitched for them.
He pitched very briefly for them, yes. But not much. And yeah, that one by the end of this season, I'm pretty confident is going to look like the worst one with Ketel on the track that he is. If he even puts up another 4 WAR season, which feels like his floor at this point, that's going to be his worst one.
He'll have his usual 1 or 2 stints on the IL, but if he plays 130 games, he's the outcome for him. Honestly, that trade, his outcome is probably 80 to 90th percentile for hitting development.
Truly crazy. Yeah. And he wouldn't have helped the Mariners in 2020, 2019.
Helped him. Would have been nice to have him now.
Would have been very nice to have him now if they held on to him, but
or tried to acquire him.
Yeah, well, hey, maybe they will.
The only way this doesn't surpass it is if the D-backs trade him, which I thought was going to happen, but
yeah. Third one, December 5th, 2019. Jerry traded away Omar Narvaez to the Brewers in exchange for Adam Hill and a comp round B pick, which turned out to be Connor Phillips.
Okay.
And then this is up against the Marlins trade in 2017, July 20th. Jerry sent out Brian Hernandez, Brandon Miller, Lucas Schiraldi, all didn't pitch in the majors, and then Pablo Lopez for David Phelps. Which trade do you think is worse?
Okay, the first one, Omar Narvaez was decent for the Brewers.
He was.
Not good when we ended up getting him back, so which has happened. How many times have we had Narvaez at this point?
I think just twice.
Okay, just twice. Oh my God. He was good for the Brewers. But Pablo Lopez going over there.
But Pablo didn't pitch for the Marlins for a while, and then he was not really healthy until he got to the Twins, and now he's not healthy again. But
I'm going to go a whole lot of nothing on the other part.
I think the Brewers trade is worse slightly.
What do you think,
What was
Sean?
the rest of the Marlins one? They got David Phelps back, I know, but who else was tacked on? I'm trying to think if any of them would have contributed.
Just David Phelps for the Mariners, and then it was Brian Hernandez, Brandon Miller, and Lucas Schiraldi to the Marlins. And I'll tell you, all of them didn't make it to the major leagues for the Marlins.
Yeah, I didn't think so. You
Just
never know
Pablo
with the
Lopez.
Marlins. They got some random hitters.
That's true.
I think it's the Brewers. I think Narvaez was quite good.
You're both wrong. It was Pablo Lopez. Pablo Lopez. Omar Narvaez was worth 4.6 WAR for the Brewers, but Pablo Lopez ended up being worth 7.9 in
Did
his
he really?
with the Marlins. Yeah, which is very good for Pablo Lopez. I think I'm just pulling up his Fangraphs page right now because I think it was mainly in like his last season with them where a lot of that one came from.
He finally got healthy. Yeah.
It was 2022. He put up 3 Fangraphs WAR, and then he got traded to the Twins that offseason.
Oh, I guess now looking, Narvaez was good before that trade. Dang it. Well, he did have a good season with the Brewers once, but
He did. It was respectable. 4.6 WAR is not.
Maybe
bad.
Sean, you and I, maybe we're getting our Narvaez and Victor Caratini years confused.
No. Victor Caratini couldn't hit until he was like at the end of the Astros tenure.
Yeah.
Caratini's now on the Twins, actually.
Now he can hit.
Now he can actually hit somehow. It's a classic catcher track.
Yeah.
All right. Let's knock.
It's hard.
It is hard. I told you it was not going to be easy. It wasn't going to be like a slam dunk. This is just fun to list out these trades.
I know I need to get moving, but who else was on that rotation for the Marlins? Because the Marlins had their rotation for a while was fun.
So Edward Cabrera has been around kind of that whole time.
2022 Marlins. Well, it would have been that team was awful, but that was the Sandy 8 WAR year. Luzardo, Braxton Garrett, Trevor Rogers. It was like their gaggle of hard throwing lefties.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trevor's had one good rookie year. Was that 21?
That was 2022. He was not good. 2021.
Yeah.
It is a bunch of guys that are like up and down.
Yeah.
Very, very frustrating fantasy guys. I remember every single one of them.
Yeah, and like Tanner Scott was just getting going in the bullpen around that time. Wasn't quite, 2024 Tanner or 2023 Tanner Scott, but okay, let's knock one more out before Zoom is going to kick me off here. His first ever trade, I told you he was going to come up again. It's in here in his top 10 worst. It's the Danny Farquhar, Brad Miller, Logan Morrison for Nate Carnes, Boog Powell, and CJ Riffenhauser up against a trade that happened on December 13th, 2018. One of the Carlos Santana trades, trading away Carlos Santana for Edwin Encarnacion and a comp B pick, which turned out to be Isaiah Campbell, and his WAR counts in this.
Okay. A helpful addition.
Yeah, thanks. Well, that changes everything. So, okay, Encarnacion, I'm fairly positive.
You let Tyler do the legwork here with the brain here.
Yeah, Sean, don't ride my coattails on this one.
I'll just let you think through it. You remember all the things I have memory hold, or decided to forget.
So I don't think that trade worked out very well for the Rays, if I recall, because I think, just gut feeling, I think the Rays trade is worse, so then Santana got traded to which team? The Phillies or the
Guardians?
I think he was good for the Guardians. I think so. I feel like I have to go with that one.
Yeah,
I don't know. I never remember the Santana seasons and how much he actually contributes on the field.
Because this was he got traded to the Guardians, but this was after, or no, not after his stint with the Phillies. I have that mixed up.
I think the Rays trade is worse for the Mariners because for some reason in my head, I feel like Brad Miller had like one killer stretch with the Rays, and that might push it over because I think Edwin was okay for the M's, but if I recall, he might have gotten traded at the deadline in 2019.
Edwin
I'm
is
gonna
the
go with
same
the
as
Rays
like
trade.
Edwin's the same as like Jay Bruce for me, where I have no recollection of this stint of him being on there. So I'm going with that one.
I think the Rays trade is worse.
Tyler's correct. And you're going to be mad about this one. It's negative 0.1 WAR difference here with these trades.
Come on.
So
I bet I can find a different calculation of WAR where I win that one.
B WAR is probably a little different. I could look it up, but Carlos Santana put up 5.5 WAR after getting traded back to the Guardians. So he got traded to the Phillies at the 2018 deadline, and then he got traded to the Mariners, but then the Mariners flipped him immediately to the Guardians in this trade in the offseason before the 2019 season.
Right.
Edwin Encarnacion had a good season for the Mariners. He put up 1.5 WAR, but that was not better than what Santana ended up doing for the Guardians. And then you were right on the Rays trade, Tyler, but Brad Miller wasn't like awesome on the Rays. It was one Logan Morrison season in 2017 that really pushed him over the edge because in 2017 he had a 868 OPS in 601 plate appearances for the Rays.
Sure. Sure, Lomo.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm sure at the time we were all very mad about that.
Oh yeah.
It was classic Mariners. Where Lomo was just a perennial, like, God, this guy, I cannot stand him. Like, he gets up there and strikes out, and
yeah, and Nate
wasting
Karns,
away at first base.
Yeah, Nate Karns put up 1.4 F4 for the Mariners in his time, so he was, not good. Shockingly,
I will say Lomo was a good, extension of the Justin Smoke, Richie Sexton gauntlet we had at first base.
That type of archetype for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Lomo was okay in 2014. He had a good stretch but Edwin was traded in 2019.
So. Yeah, he was good and then traded. So, all right, let's get to the last trade of the top 10 of his worst ever. And this one's a fun one because this is one of the Eugenio Suarez trades. A fun tidbit of this that I found: Eugenio exists on both of these lists. He's in the top 10 trades of the worst net F4 and top 10 of the best net F4, which tracks given both the trades that he was in. But this one is obviously the November 22nd, 2023 trade, shipping out Eugenio Suarez for Sebi Zavala and Carlos Vargas. And this one's going up against the January 11th, 2017 trade with the Rays, giving up Malik Smith, Ryan Yarborough, and also Carlos Vargas, not the same Carlos Vargas, for Drew Smiley.
Drew Smiley?
Which one do you think is worse?
Oh, boy.
Oh, I can hear Joseph's ears ringing right now. When we were recording our podcast back before the 2017 season, he was so high on Drew Smiley. Drew Smiley shoved for the U.S. in the WBC. He said he was going to have more WAR than James Paxton that year, and I disagreed.
Oh, my God.
It's a nice win. So the Rays trade, it was Malik's and
Yarborough.
And Yarborough was there for a while.
Yeah.
Suarez did rake for the D-backs in 2024.
And Sebi got DFA'd, I'm pretty sure.
And he raked for 2025. Sebi was awful. Vargas.
I'm just a hint.
Vargas.
Negative WAR again counts in this calculation, which is relevant for Carlos Vargas.
Yes, it is.
With Fangraphs WAR specifically.
God, this is a tough one, man.
I feel like Vargas had a lot of innings, and wasn't he couldn't have that bad of an ERA because I feel like Vargas was a guy that people kind of like that didn't really know ball, thought wasn't that bad, but because of his ERA, but he definitely did not contribute positively to the
And
team.
he's like an ultimate like eye test guy. You see that sinker and you're like, there's no way this guy can be bad. And then you see he has a 16% K rate. And you're like, that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't work. Okay,
Turns
so
out
that's negative on that trade, and then Gino was like quite good for the D-backs. So, but Drew Smiley terrible. Malik Smith had some good. I think he had some good seasons for the Rays.
It was Malix, Yarbrough, and who else? The other Carlos Vargas.
Yeah, a middle infield prospect who never made it to the big
did
leagues.
Nothing probably. Yeah. And Yarbrough was like 5 innings, 4 earned, like typical. Gonna get you something.
Still pitching now. Pitching for the goddamn Dodgers last year. Throws pus. I think the Suarez trade is worse. I think Gino raked enough where that's the worst one.
I think the combo of Malix and Yarbrough surpasses it.
You'd be correct, Sean.
All right.
Malik Smith and Ryan Yarbrough amounted to more WAR than Eugenio Suarez. So that Rays trade with Drew Smiley, famously never actually throwing an inning for the Mariners, netted them negative 9.7 WAR. Malik Smith was worth 3.8, and Yarbrough was worth 5.9 for the Rays.
Malix put up almost 4 WAR.
Yeah, he did.
I have no recollection of that whatsoever.
He did. And then Eugenio, I mean, he raked. He put up 6.9 WAR for the D-backs before coming back to the Mariners. That didn't get over the hump, the Yarbrough and Malik Smith hump. And then Sebi Savala put up 0, a perfect 0 WAR for the Mariners. And Carlos Vargas was worth negative 0.6 last year because his FIP was much worse than his ERA.
Yeah.
So he, for Baseball Reference WAR, he put up 0.
Okay.
So I underestimated Malik Smith, and that's on me.
Yeah, how dare you?
Or even, but Yarbrough getting almost a 6 is kind of crazy.
Yeah, so the difference in those trades was 2.2 WAR in favor of the Rays guys.
So the Yarbrough thing makes sense to me because he was there for a long time. The Malix one, I really thought Malix just like didn't play for the Rays almost, but I'm completely
I remember him being relevant in fantasy for a little bit.
Yeah, so his 2017 was he played like half a season and wasn't very good. His 2018 was actually good. He was definitely a riser in the juice ball era. He put up 3.2 WAR that year and a 118 WRC plus in 544 plate appearances for the Rays in 2018. So the juice balls were good to him.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
and then he just didn't play anymore because I don't remember him at all after that.
Yeah,
he came back to the Mariners.
He did, and then he was on the 2019 team, and he was bad, and he actually appeared on the 2020 team, and he was even worse, and then was off the team, and that was it for his career in the majors, at least. But that was it. That was it for the bad trades. Those were his top 10 worst trades ever, which, yeah, he has more worst trades than bad ones. I'll tell you that right now. He has a negative value in his career trading in both calculations of WAR by a really good margin. But now we can get into the good ones, which is very fun. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to pit his top 2 best trades ever by my calculation against each other to kick this off. So you will know these trades well. They're more recent. This one, July 30th, 2022 with the Cincinnati Reds. It's the Luis Castillo trade. They got Luis Castillo for Noelvi Marte, Edwin Arroyo, Levi Stout, and Andrew Moore. And this one's going up against the 2020 August 30th trade with the Padres acquiring Luis Torrens, Andres Munoz, Ty France, and Taylor Trammell for Austin Nola, Austin Adams, and Dan Altavilla. Which one do you think is his best trade ever by F4?
Better trade. Can you repeat the first one?
Yes, it was Noelvi Marte, Edwin Arroyo, Levi Stout, and Andrew Moore for Luis Castillo.
But really, we're comparing Luis Castillo here to
with like Ty France.
Ty France, and who was the other?
Andres Munoz.
And
Trammell and Torrens as well. All four of those guys played a decent amount of ball for the Mariners, and obviously Munoz is still
Clarice
on the team.
Yikes. Oh, Ty France had some.
Yeah, this really comes down to Munoz for me and how his WAR calculates because, God, relievers are so hard.
That's tough.
I think spiritually, and I think what's correct is that the Castillo trade's better for the Mariners, and it's also because Noel V got suspended and didn't get off the ground. And I don't think even with Munoz as good as he is, relievers, their WAR accrual, and France being a bad defensive first baseman, and Torrens hit well one time down the stretch. I'm going to go with the Reds trade being better.
The Padres got Nola, Altavia, and who else?
Austin Adams.
Mr. Hit by Pitch. The hit by pitch. Yeah. And Altavilla didn't do much. Austin Nola might have actually been worth negative WAR, which makes this tricky.
Yeah.
I'm still going with the Reds. Spiritually, it's the Reds. Castillo pitched game 1 of the first playoff game ever. I don't even care if I'm wrong. The Reds trade's the best trade Jerry's ever made and changed the complete trajectory of the franchise.
I feel like I'll go with that too, just because of Castillo. But Munoz, I feel like with Fangraphs WAR could be quite high. But
I think it's going to be less than we think.
I agree with you guys, although you're wrong. I agree with you that I think the Luis Castillo trade is and should be known as his best trade ever. However, by F4, it is not. So Luis Castillo has put up 9.7 F4 for the Mariners. And then Noelvi Marte has only put up 0.3, Levi Stout 0.1, and then Edwin Aurelio, Andrew Moore haven't played in the bigs for the Reds. So that one nets out to 9.3 F4. But what pushes it over the edge is honestly Ty France. So Andres Munoz has 5.4 F4 for the Mariners. He has more baseball reference WAR, actually. But Ty France, 7.4 career F4 for the Seattle Mariners. His 2021-2022 seasons were incredibly valuable in Fangraphs WAR. And then Taylor Trammell, 0.3. Luis Torrens is actually worth negative 0.4.
Yeah,
and then, Austin Nola was worth 1 WAR, Austin Adams 0.2, and Dan Altavia 0.1. So that one nets out to 11.4 and his best trade ever by this calculation.
Ty France. I guess I'm just kind of hurt by Ty France at the end. Not by him, but just kind of sad.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's the net for the Castillo one?
9.3.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I agree. I think that one is his best trade ever. And it should be remembered as such, honestly.
Edwin Arroyo, is he languishing down there for the
he's cooking. He's in their spring training roster, I think. I heard his name on the Effectively Wild Reds preview. So that's something.
He's been very stop-start since the trade. Levi Stout actually came back to the Mariners eventually. So
yeah, I think they picked him up on waivers, didn't they?
Yeah.
So those are his best trades ever, which I think makes sense, honestly, thinking about it. But Luis Castillo, I think, with the playoff stuff and just what that did for the 22 team, I think is spiritually should be his number one. All right, moving on to the next two. March 14th, 2022, also with the Reds. 2022 is the year of Jerry fleecing the Cincinnati Reds franchise because this one also looks good in the WAR calculation. It was at that time, the Jesse Winker trade, and then during the season became the Eugenio Suarez trade. So they got those two guys from the Reds for Justin Dunn, Jake Fraley, Brandon Williamson, and Connor Phillips. And this one is going up against the December 3rd, 2018 trade with the Phillies, acquiring J.P. Crawford and Carlos Santana for Gene Segura, Juan Nicasio, and James Pazos, who, shout out to James Pazos. I always really liked James Pazos myself.
I forgot about James Pazos. I was a big fan of James Pazos.
Yeah, I liked him. I will tell you,
I
he
have
did
no
not
recollection.
pitch. He did not pitch for the Phillies in the major leagues.
Was James Pazos a lefty?
Yes, hard throwing
Yeah.
lefty.
Yeah, I remember him.
He was like really beefy.
He was a beef
I mean,
boy.
we have given the Reds some prospects, but
We've given them a lot of volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin Dunn, Jake Fraley, Brandon Williamson, and Connor Phillips. All of them have played Major League Baseball for the Reds since this trade.
Interesting player.
Yeah, I think. All right, this is one where.
I guess really how good is JD Crawford in or was, which is hard because he's had such a weird career for them.
So they traded the Phillies Pazos, Segura,
Juan Nicasio
and
as
Juan
well.
Nicasio. And Segura was there on the Phillies for a few years, though.
He was.
He wasn't good for them.
I think he was decent for the first couple of years. I can't remember the COVID season because I can't remember most of the COVID season.
And then just, shortstops. They
Sure does accrue that.
put up WAR no matter how good they are.
So this is for like the better one, right?
Yeah. Which one is better for the Mariners?
Oh, I think I'd go with the first one for me.
Gino?
Yeah, Gino.
Yeah, I don't think any of those guys have provided enough value. Well, but this only counts for Gino's first stint with the Mariners, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So this does not account for his recent stint. So this only goes up until they traded him for Sebi Zavala, Carlos Vargas. So this is a season and a half of Gino.
Right.
Yikes.
I'm going to go with JP. I don't feel confident in that, but I think the JP trade. I think JP probably has career with 15 to 20 WAR.
Because he had almost 8 WAR season.
No.
I'm pretty sure he did.
I bet JP's best on Fangraphs is maybe 4 or 5.
The 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I'm thinking of just.
It really, I can't remember.
It would be crazy for JP. I guess it'd be 4 or 5, but 15-20 sounds right. And then Segura, I guess because of shortstop, defensively accrued something.
I'm just gonna still go with JP. I don't think Suarez was there long enough to make it happen.
But it was also Carlos Santana, right?
Yes, but he did not end up playing for the M's because they flipped him.
Yeah.
They flipped him in the trade we talked about, Frenwood Encarnacion.
Yeah, we didn't see him. Yeah, we didn't see him in a Mariners jersey for that trade.
Yeah, until 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm overestimating JP because I guess it would be closer to 5 his best year when he was almost 20 home runs all of a sudden.
Yeah, 2023. I want to say 130 something WRC plus that year.
Yeah. I'm still gonna go with JP.
I don't know. I'm still going Gino.
It was the JP Crawford trade.
Let's go.
The reason being, so Eugenio Suarez put up 7.8 F WAR with the Mariners in his season and a half. Great stuff. Jesse Winker had 0.8 F WAR because he had a million walks that year, so he wasn't a completely waste of a player.
Well, I even forgot he was part of that trade, even though you said it, so he's out of my mind, which is good.
And then Justin Dunn put up negative 0.7 for the Reds. Jake Fraley 2.2. Brandon Williamson 1.6 and Connor Phillips 0.3. So that trade only nets out to 5.2 net positive F WAR for the Mariners.
Terrible.
Whereas the Phillies trade, so Gene Segura put up 8.5 WAR for the Phillies. Juan Nicasio put up 0.5, James Pazos 0. And then JP Crawford has been worth 17.8 Fangraphs WAR for the Mariners since they acquired him. So that nets out to 8.8 positive F WAR versus 5.2.
Fraley 2.2 and Brandon Williamson.
I think Phipp likes a little bit of what Williamson has done, and then Fraley, just because he runs the base as well and can play the outfield, I think he just gets a little bit.
Gets on base.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a useless player.
No, but
Like,
yeah, the JP Crawford has been more valuable despite the poor defense. He's been a pretty solid contributor at the plate, playing shortstop and even being an average hitter. That's what, 3 WAR?
I'm gonna look right now. Defensively is so weird with his WAR. I'm looking.
He's comfortably now not a good defender. I don't know if he ever was a good defender. I feel like the metrics have always disagreed on his
The metrics
defensive
on
output.
Fangraphs are like he's got a 6.8, a 7.6, but then -2, negative. Then 4.7 was 2024, but -3 last year. So that's why like these defensive WAR.
And I think defensive run save kind of hates him.
Statcast hated him more last year, though. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure at this point Crawford is a bad defensive shortstop.
Yeah, no,
which gets into this upcoming
eye test wise. Yeah,
the Baseball Reference WAR loves this trade compared to Fangraphs because their calculation has JP Crawford with 21 career WAR versus 17.8. So Baseball Reference does like him a little bit more, I guess.
Fair enough. It was a good trade. JP's been a good Mariner.
Yeah, longest tenured Mariner now that Dylan Moore is not on the team.
Demo.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Next one. We have to go back to 2017. This is August 30th. Trade with the Cardinals. The Mariners shipped out Raider Asenio for Mike Leake. This is the Mike Leake acquisition. This trade is going up against a 2020 trade with the Padres. So this was the day after that Austin Nola, Austin Adams, Andres Munoz trade. It was shipping Taylor Williams to the Padres for a player to be named later, who ended up being Matt Brash. So this is essentially asking you who had more F4 for the Mariners, Matt Brash or Mike Leake?
How was Mike Leake only one season? I'm trying to remember now.
He did not pitch for them very long.
No, he wasn't there very long.
But Mike Leake would put up a lot of innings, if I remember correctly.
I feel like Mike Leake is an ultimate like Phipp will not like him guy.
So Mike Leake was a season and a half for the team. He was one of the departures in the 2019 season for them after pitching the full 2018. He got traded to the D-backs that year for Jose Caballero in 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not remember that.
So that also ends up actually looking pretty decent for Jerry. That's a positive one for him.
So, okay.
Mike Leake.
So Brash, who was Brash traded for? He was the player to be named later, but who was he traded for?
Taylor Williams.
I don't have any recollection of who that is.
He is a pitcher? Yeah.
I'm going to say, because this is FIP-based WAR, even with Brash's injury, I think Brash edges out Leake barely, because Brash's strikeout rate and his walk rate are good, and Leake was a dude who just was basically Aaron Cook 2.0. That's my logic. I'm going with the Brash trade.
Who did we give up for Mike Leake?
Raider Asenio.
Okay, so that's not bad. Right?
I don't think he played in the Rangers.
He did not.
Okay. Matt Brash. I feel like I'd be being rude to Matt Brash to say Mike Leake was more, and so I hope it's Matt Brash.
You're both wrong again.
No!
Did Mike Leake get like a season over 2 WAR?
All right, listen. I wrote this down. I knew you guys were going to get this one wrong because Mike Leake was worth 4.8 F4 for the Mariners in a season and a half.
No, he wasn't. I disagree.
So not.
And Matt Brash has been worth, what, 3.4 F4 for the team. I think he's on track, obviously, to beat that, but him missing a whole season there was really what undid this one and
Mike Leake.
swung it in Mike Leake's favor. He put up 2.3 F4 in 2018 for the Mariners.
Boy.
Because he had a 4.36 ERA in 185 innings. And in 2018, that's not a bad ERA. That's basically league average at that point.
That's a 90. He had a 99 FIP minus, which means he was exactly league average.
God, and he ate 185 innings.
Yeah.
So how much WAR does Brash have?
3.4.
So 4.8 to 3.4. It's not even that close.
No, these positive trades are dwindling down quickly because they're less positive than his other negative ones are.
Yeah. I mean, what was Brash's 2023 season?
Let's see. Yeah, because that's when he pitched 100 innings. Well, no, but 70 innings.
Led the league in appearances.
Yeah. Let's see. Him and Justin Topa that year cooked 70.2 innings. Yeah, 2 F4. So really good reliever season. 3.06 ERA with a 2.26 FIP though. So that's why 2 F4 for reliever is great.
Yeah. Mike Leake was on the Reds team that I remember playing on the show quite a bit because that was Johnny Cueto years, Homer Bailey,
Jay Bruce.
Bruce.
That was a fun
Homer
team.
Bailey. Yeah.
Was 40-year-old Bronson Arroyo on that team?
Probably, unless he was on the D-backs at that point. Mike Leake, one of the few guys to not play minor league ball.
I was going to say, have we had another pitcher do that since Mike Leake?
The only one I could possibly think of was a guy who pitched for the Royals in the playoffs back in the day when they were in the World Series. He was, I think he came out of TCU, but he might have pitched there.
Well, yeah, and tell Kate Anderson this season.
Yeah, okay. We can get into that later.
Well, if anyone's going to do it, it'll be the Angels.
The Angels have to do it. I'm shocked they didn't, actually. That's a really good point. I'm shocked they didn't do that.
Well, they kind of tried with Ryan Johnson last year, didn't they? Maybe they even did.
Maybe they did. All right, I'll have to verify that after. But let's get to the final two. The final 4 trades here. So the next two up against each other. This one, July 25th, 2024. You're sensing that a lot of his best trades have come since the turn of the century. He's really been in his bag since 2020. But this is the Randy Arozarena trade. The Randy Arozarena for Aiden Smith and Brody Hopkins. And then this one's going up against the heartbreaking July 31st, 2023 trade, Paul Sewald to the Diamondbacks for Josh Rojas, Dominic Canzone, and Ryan Bliss.
Oof.
Oh, that's tough.
These ones are close.
I'm just going to go with my gut and say Randy because Aiden Smith and Hopkins haven't debuted yet.
Okay. Yeah, you're basically I'll give you it. Paul Sewald was worth a pretty inconsequential amount of WAR for the Diamondbacks in his time there. Yeah. So you're kind of pitting Rojas, Canzone, Bliss versus Randy.
Well,
yeah.
When you put it that way, I think I would be a terrible Mariners fan to go with Rojas, Canzone, and Bliss. I feel like you have to go Randy here, but I feel like you're sitting here trying to trick us.
Yeah, you're just smiling. Look at you.
I am smiling.
Merc.
I'm going with Randy. I think Canzone last year could have made this. He might have made this closer than it would have been, but I still think Randy's been solid the last year and a half. So yeah, I'll go with that. And Hopkins could make us look bad prospect wise. Apparently he's someone who could debut this year. Aiden Smith, is he the same Aiden Smith that's now on the Phillies?
No, that's Aiden Miller, isn't it?
Aiden Miller. Okay, yeah. Okay.
I don't think Aiden Smith. Yeah, Aiden Smith doesn't look as good as Brody Hopkins, but yeah, I'm hearing a lot of. I mean, when Brody Hopkins was traded, I remember prospect people being actually shocked that Jerry traded him because it's such a Rays Mariners type of arm.
But he's also only going to be a reliever, probably, right?
He might be.
Yeah.
I think I heard
Ostensibly,
on Effectively Wild Longenhagen talking about potentially him just being like an incredibly good closer for them. But
Yeah.
I think they're trying him out as a starter probably still.
I got to go Randy here. I know Rojas put up a decent
Yeah.
few months, but
I can't go with the bundle of Rojas, Canzone, and Bliss. So
because
yeah.
what did Randy put up last year? He probably put up 2.9.
He was on track for a really big year too before his September, which was awful.
I don't think Seawald did enough. I'm gonna go with Randy.
I got you guys again.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Very rude.
Randy has been worth 3.8 WAR for the Mariners. I would say more impactful
That's
probably
lower
in
than I
a
thought.
day-to-day situation than the other three. But Josh Rojas, Dominic Canzone, and Ryan Bliss have been worth 4.6 WAR for the Mariners, and Paul Sewell was only worth 0.1 for the Diamondbacks. So that is 4.6 net WAR to 3.8 in the Randy trade. Josh Rojas worth 3 WAR for the Mariners. 2024.
There's no way.
2024, he had 1.9 F WAR.
Doing what? What did he do?
And then he had the April. I think it was all in April, honestly, where he had like
April.
a 200 WRC plus that.
I guess he started off really good. That's true.
Well, and then he played all season in a lot of different roles. I think it was just playing time, and he netted out to basically a replacement level 1.9 WAR player that year. And getting him, he was worth 1.1 before that. So I think Brody Hopkins is the wild card there, but Randy's still on the team. He'll still, and I think that is more impactful than it's kind of like the Castillo trade. I think that one is spiritually a lot more impactful. That's I remember how psyched we all were when Randy was traded to the Mariners. That was an awesome day.
It just doesn't happen.
And they could also, for PR purposes, talk about him as a free agent signing that had already happened
Exactly, and then they missed the playoffs. So it was great.
I feel like getting good players is what's helping Dipoto have these good trades recently.
Yeah, it's crazy getting good players in return.
The ones that are proven to be good.
It works out.
Josh Naylor, pretty good.
It works out really well. Okay, we'll go to the last one here. The last two trades pits this trade on March 29th, 2019 with the Giants. Jerry traded Jesus Osoria for Tom Murphy.
Tom Murphy, another catcher.
And then this one, we go all the way back to Jerry's third trade ever with the Texas Rangers. He traded James Jones, Tom Wilhelmsen, and Patrick Kivlahan in exchange for Anthony Bass and Leonis Martin.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Which trade do you think is better for Jerry?
I'm not even going to think about this one. Give me the catcher. I don't know. Just give me the catcher.
Murphy barely played.
Yeah.
I also think Leonis Martin was really bad after maybe a month of stuff.
And he was definitely not as good as expected, I would say.
All right, so do the trades one more time, and I'm not going to think about this either.
Okay. Jesus Osoria to the Giants in exchange for Tom Murphy. That's it. That's
nothing
that
on
trade.
the other side, essentially. There's nothing.
He did not make the majors for the Giants. Yeah. And then James Jones, Tom Wilhelmsen, and Patrick Kivlahan for Anthony Bass and Leonis Martin in 2015.
So really,
Jesus Christ, Matthew.
James Jones.
James Jones did not play in the major leagues.
Yeah, it's really did the bartender contribute?
He's the main contributor for the Rangers, whether good or bad. He's the one who actually pitched for them.
No, I don't think Murphy played enough. I'm going to go opposite Sean. I'm just going to do it. I think Leonis Martin was good for 1 year, and I think he makes the trade the win.
I don't know. I think you're I don't know. Anthony Bass though. What do you think about Anthony Bass?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Anthony Bass?
I caught you a delicious bass. I think of Napoleon Dynamite. I don't think about him pitching. So,
well, Sean's instincts were correct.
Let's go.
Tom Murphy,
a catcher that I don't remember being very good, but I think he had a decent start with them. So
Tom Murphy was worth 5 WAR for the Mariners. And
no.
You have to look. It was the peak juice balls. It was 2019. Yeah, he had 281 plate appearances and had a 126 WRC plus as a catcher. So that's 3.1 WAR, basically most of it.
Jesus.
And then and so that one nets out to just 5 even. And then Anthony Bass and Leonis Martin. Leonis Martin put up 2.5 F4 for the Mariners. Anthony Bass 0.6. And then Tom Wilhelmsen, the contributor to the Rangers, had negative 0.7 WAR for the Rangers.
So then what's the total?
3.8 versus Tom Murphy's 5.
I think there's this what I'm coming to is there's got to be this other game that we can do here with like catchers that like barely play but somehow had one great season all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Greater.
That can really do it because even like Tom Murphy, yeah, he wasn't good, but even if you're playing catcher, if you have that one good season, you can just accrue like half WAR seasons for the rest of your life and be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm also realizing is that was 2019 that he did that.
Yeah.
Other than that hot start they had that I mentioned earlier with Domingo Santana and Daniel Vogelbach.
Tim Beckham. I do not have any. I think I have memory hold that season completely. No, I think I did too. I mean, it was pre-COVID times, obviously, but then it was just like they were not. It was such an odd group of players.
And like I was, super like the most stressed at work I've ever been in my adult life. I was in Boise at the time. The team was bad. I'm realizing that I don't have any memory of 2019 after like May 30th.
Yeah, that tracks.
I did not have any recollection that Tom Murphy did that.
Yeah, 68 and 94. 68 and 94 that year. Omar Narvaez and Tom Murphy were actually like a really good catcher tandem that season. Austin Nola, D. Gordon, J.P. Crawford, Kyle Seegers last year. Mitch Haniger, Daniel Vogelbach. Their offense was actually not that bad. It's their pitching staff where it was Marco Gonzalez, and that was pretty much it.
Oh.
Marco Gonzalez, Yusei Kikuchi, Mike Leake, Felix, who was awful.
Yeah.
And then their bullpen.
Yeah, I think I tuned that season out too because that was just sad.
Yeah. Wade LeBlanc wasn't his really good year for the team. Tommy Malone threw 111 innings for the team that year.
Wade LeBlanc's one good season with the team. I remember that for sure.
Tommy Malone, one of his like 8 stints with the team.
Yeah,
I'm looking now.
Swing guy.
I'm looking now. The Mariners finished last in Fangraphs pitching WAR in 2019.
Yeah, that's not shocking. Marco Gonzalez was pretty good.
They put up 5.4 wins as a pitching staff.
Oh, that's so bad.
5.4.
Marco threw 203 innings with a 109 ERA plus that year.
I mean, little Marco had a decent little career.
Yeah. Well, that was it for his top 10 worst and best trades. That was fun. I like going back and looking at these trades. A little bonus. So I have this in a Google sheet. I did a lot of queries and such, and I listed the amount of times guys have been in Jerry trades. There has been 5 guys ever who have been traded or been in a trade 3 times with Jerry Dipoto. Can you name any of those 5? We've mentioned a couple today.
5 guys. So one that I don't think we've mentioned yet is Jacob Nottingham on here.
He's not, because that is like waiver claims and stuff. I think he was traded for once or twice, but not 3 times. In total transactions, he's probably at the top with like 6 or something.
So the guys we mentioned then would be Carlos Santana and Suarez.
Carlos Santana is 1. Suarez, no, he's just been in 2. But Carlos Santana is one of them. One of them, trade with the Rays that we mentioned earlier, center fielder.
Oh, Alex Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about? No, I don't know.
One is a backup catcher.
It's got to be a reliever.
One is a backup catcher who was on the team recently. Not right now.
Blake Hunt.
Yes, Blake Hunt.
Blake Hunt. Okay, yeah. Don't even have any memory of him.
And then
he's been Rays, he's been like Rays, Padres, Mariners.
Yeah.
He's
been all over the
traded.
place.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 are both
they
pitchers.
Yeah.
Well, one
One's
of them is kind of both, and one of them is a reliever with a very fun last name.
Okay. Fun last name. That's a lot of relievers. Okay. And do I pronounce this guy's last name correctly? A good toss-up. Let's see. Mishevitz.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Anthony.
No way.
Mishevitz.
Tony Sandwiches?
Yeah, Tony Sandwiches has been in 3 trades with Jerry Dipoto.
That was another Rays guy, right?
Yes. And then you're just missing one guy who is a starter, reliever, really anything you want him to be. He was on the team in 2014, 2015, and then 2018, and then not 2019 to start the year, but 2019 to end the year.
How many times is that?
3.
My God.
3 times?
And then again in 2022, actually. But that wasn't from a trade.
Okay, so it's not Wade LeBlanc.
Lefty, not Wade LeBlanc. A lefty who also pitched on the Red Sox and the Nationals in 2019.
So the Nationals team that won the World Series?
Mm-hmm. He was not really a contributor for them, though. 3 innings.
Yeah, this is, I don't have the name in my head.
You'll know it.
When you say it.
It is Rowanus Elias.
Of
Rowanus
course,
Elias.
I should have known that.
Okay, but when you say he could do a little bit of anything, I am not thinking about Rowanus Elias.
Oh, I mean, I didn't say he could do it well. He could. Yeah, he was just available. And then they signed him. They signed him in 2022.
Yeah, so he's been Red Sox, Nats, Mariners. I think he had a stint on the Orioles, maybe. He's a good immaculate grid guy for sure.
Yeah, let's see. Nationals. Yeah, he was on the Mariners and then traded to the Red Sox, traded back to the Mariners in 2018, traded to the Nationals in 2019. And then a 3-year gap, and then on the 2022 Seattle Mariners for 7.2 innings. Which, does that mean he has a ring? Or not a ring? Does that mean he has like a playoff appearance for the Mariners? Or did he? It was the start of the season. He must have.
Oh, he's over in the KBO the past couple of years.
Yeah, he's been pitching.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get like they didn't
not a ring, but it's like technically a playoff. No, I'm trying to remember when he pitched for the Mariners that year. It must have been at the start of the season.
Maybe he'd be eligible for a playoff bonus, which considering the teams he had to play for.
he deserves it.
Yeah. God, Rowan,
just for being present.
Yeah,
right,
he was
Sean,
on the team in May and June. Yeah, Sean was right more often than not there. Tyler, your logic was honestly too sound, I think.
Following Tyler's logic, just stretch of logic and considering all that. So it's really Tyler's memory and then me just going with whatever.
Yeah, but you called out Anthony Mishevich.
Yeah, you did. You did get Mishevich. You got Tony Sandwiches.
I did love that name.
All right, that was the game. That was fun. I will post my Google Sheets online this week at some point because I have all the wars listed out. You can see it. You can see his total F WAR, which is negative 36.4, and his total baseball reference
his total
WAR,
for all trades.
Yeah, which baseball reference is negative 24.8. So Technically not coming out on top in F war and B war for trades, but it really is like, I mean, the Cattell and Freddie Peralta are really carrying those numbers. Like those ones are exceptionally bad.
It'd be interesting to
Yeah.
compare it to AJ Preller.
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't have any barometer for how good other GMs are at trading. Like, so
Yeah.
I can't. I would guess a lot of them have negative values because a lot of the time you are giving up more value for a guy at like the deadline theoretically.
Yeah, you'd have to.
And
You'd
Preller
have to
probably has.
wait.
I don't know if he got.
But no one gives this big of a sample besides AJ Preller.
Yeah, it's just him and Dipoto
Yeah,
for the last 10 years or so.
yeah. Like
you'd have to
Jerry's given
wait.
us
You'd have to wait.
199 trades.
Yeah, and like to our point earlier, spiritually, like Luis Castillo, right? Like, even if wins above replacement wise, that's still a great trade. Most
Yeah.
of the time, most studies have shown, especially as teams have gotten smarter, trading a bunch of prospects for an established guy is usually the team who gets the established guy is better.
Yeah, I think it's
like,
shifted as Jerry's been with the team. Very much
totally.
so.
And with pitching too, pitchers are peaking and lasting later at this point than hitters are. And Luis, like, starting the playoff game, signing into him an extension, which I think he has 2 more years. I think it expires after next year.
He has a vesting option for 2028, I think.
Yeah, so that trade, like, this is a moving target too. Like, these will change. Even if Luis tanks this year, next year, I don't care. Like, it's so important that happens. And just look at the guys they got back. Like, think who they traded. They traded Noelvi. They traded Arroyo, who kind of popped up that year. They traded
Levi Stout was just a huge dev win that year.
Yeah, and same with Arroyo. And it's why, like, this year during the offseason, when it's like there's only a couple players in the minors where it's like I'd be really uncomfortable trading them because these guys are so young and who knows what's going to happen. Like,
yeah,
we should go get, especially where the Mariners are in the win curve right now, go get the guys who can put up 2 to 3 wins above replacement because that's where they are.
Yeah.
It could bite you 10 years later, but even then, like Freddie Peralta, like, how many live arms at age 18 get traded that never turn out to be anything?
Yeah, that was
like,
a real. Yeah, you trade those guys most of the time. It's just that they got Adam Lind in return, and Adam Lind was really shitty.
Right. I think the difference now would be
they've acquired that haven't worked out.
Yeah.
I think it's clear. This actually makes me more encouraged about the front office. Is that a big difference now? Is that they would not trade for such a low ceiling guy as Adam Lind, even for that. Like, if you're going to trade for a first baseman, it's going to be someone who you actually can trust. That's not platoon eligible. Like, so that's a big difference. Even in the last 10 years as a baseball fan, just understanding, like, positionally who you should go after and trade high upside guys.
Yeah. I think what's actually impressive to me is that he managed to land the plane after making that Mets trade, and we've netted out to here. And that was such a bad trade looking back on it. Like, Edwin Diaz's WAR is one thing, but, like, I mean, just giving up him and getting literally nothing in return. Like, they should have probably traded him at that point. I don't think anyone was saying they shouldn't have traded him, especially getting off the Cano deal. But just the fact that they got 0 from that trade and they've ended up actually good, because that kickstarted the rebuild. That was like the big defining moment in the history of the franchise. And it was really shitty, but they still managed to come out of the other end with a really solid, like, young team.
Yeah, I think the Kelnick situation is also how much, like, a good example of how much can change in 5 years, because Kelnick was, like, considered a can't miss prospect.
Yeah.
But in terms of what sunk him is that him going up the ladder, then you had the COVID year, which messed up everyone's, like, sense of how people develop. now the minor leagues there's one fewer level. So once he gets up and actually is facing pitching, his hole in the zone is something that I think maybe some teams have a sense of now, but that hasn't been something that even like public side, we're still like kind of unsure how to measure that, because double and triple A are just not indicative of what they're going to see in the majors. And like, think of all the pitchers that get fast checked now. Like, think of Savage last year. Like, pitching is just so far ahead, and then Kelenic had a hole that traditionally wouldn't have been seen. So like the Mariners now, like, there's only a couple guys in the minors I wouldn't want them to trade, but like, you know what, we still don't really know what Emerson's going to do once he has to face people. But there's actually data now where maybe the Mariners and other smart teams actually have an understanding of who to trade and who to not. Like, at least that's what I hope as a fan.
I think that,
but also just seeing like where they are at in terms of their development pipeline right now, and just they keep accruing. Like, they got Kate Anderson because of the lottery, but like they're having pop-up guys all the time, and they're trading them, which is exactly what I want.
They've hit so on the draft so well the past 5 years. It's been really impressive.
I hope it can continue, but
we hope so. But
hard to do.
On the topic of Colt Emerson, before we officially sign off, I have a couple just questions I want to ask you guys. Colt Emerson versus Cole Young is like pretty much the only interesting like positional battle this spring training. I would say the team is pretty much figured out, which is really nice and very unusual that they don't have a bunch of random dudes vying for a bunch of spots. Do you think Colt Emerson makes the team? Do you think he breaks the opening day roster as the third baseman and pushes Donovan to second, or Cole Young is the second baseman on opening day with Donovan at third?
I'm going with your second option there. I mean, I just don't think that they need him to start there now.
I think that's where I was at. I think it's because I'm high on Cole Young. Like, and I think it's almost entirely because he hit that like 450-foot home run last year. And I was like, holy shit. I did not know you could do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm high on him enough to where I don't want to rush Emerson, and Donovan can play third. That's when they made that trade, I immediately thought that was what's going to happen. But
and we have to get Leo Rivas as reps too.
Exactly. You can't block Leo Rivas. I've been saying this. But Tyler, what do you think?
I'm all for Leo Rivas getting his number retired at some point in T-Mobile Park. I'm with you guys. The more I think about it, I think Cole Young has the inside track, and I think Colt Emerson, if he had more than one season of full health before last year, I think we'd be having a different discussion. But I don't think they need to rush him.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Last year is like exit velos, and he kept climbing the ladder and hitting. The interesting thing about that Cole Young homer, I'm not sure if it was the same batted ball, but in the minors, he never had one clocked above 109, and in the majors, he had one at 114.
Yeah.
And so if you're using like the Bill James like proof of concept, he can do this. If he can hit the ball 114, then we have a real player on our hands. But if it was a tracking error and he's only able to hit it 109 max, then he's a platoon player, probably, even with his plate approach. But I think they have enough leeway in the division where they can give him some runway, because also defensively he's fine. So
I think the team is not reliant on Cole Emerson being really good right now. I think is why they won't start him on opening day, and they'll just give Cole Young the opportunity, and then that's why the Donovan deal is so good. Because if Colt Emerson has a 1200 OPS in April and May in Tacoma, and Cole Young is floundering, then it's an easy decision to just move Donovan to second base.
Yeah, and if there's an injury in the outfield, or if like Randy gets hurt or Robles gets hurt or sucks, Donovan can play a corner, and you can play Young and Emerson on the infield. It's like the first roster for the Mariners where I feel like we're not completely screwed on the hitting side. Totally.
Ton of flexibility.
If one person goes down. I mean, obviously, if Julio and Cal go down, even one of them, we're screwed. But that's every team.
That's not something you factor into your. That's not something you have to think
going
about.
Down, you don't cover that.
Like that, you can't possibly replace that.
Yeah, just pack it up at that point.
I think it's a little more challenging though if like JP is like really bad.
Terrible.
I was just gonna say,
right? Like who
I was,
short,
I was sitting on a hot take that JP gets cut before the trade deadline, and Colt Emerson is the full-time shortstop. Because if JP is putting up in the 80s WRC plus with his defense where it's at, and Colt Emerson looks like legitimately like he can play shortstop, I feel like they will pull that lever.
It's just whether or not can he play shortstop. It's so hard.
I just feel like all of the scouts I heard talk about him last year is like he actually looks like he can play. I think that's why he rose to the top 10 on everyone's list. Because I think the hit tool was like there, but I think they were waiting to see if he can actually stick at shortstop, which basically makes you a 50 future value prospect automatically if you can hit it all and play shortstop.
I wonder if that's why. I don't know if you looked at the Fangraphs like Zips top 100 prospects, because it had Emerson like number 2 or something like that. It was yeah, which I don't know if that tells us anything, but I don't know why that was the case, but it did not do Emerson. The Zips projection.
Zips, and I think Oopsie had him pretty high too. And part of that is batted ball stats and then just plate approach, which Emerson's always had. And that's to the health point. Like the previous couple years, he had like weird freak injuries. It wasn't muscle injuries and not like torn ACLs like Farmello.
Yeah, didn't he get hit by a pitch in his wrist?
Yeah.
That's awful.
So I think if Emerson can play short, I think that is a hot take though, Maddie, just because culturally in the clubhouse that would be
he would have to fall off a cliff.
JP's got a long leash.
Yeah. And I think his eye he's not relying on his power. Like he's not aging out of his best skill. His best skill is his play, is his eye. Like I don't think that happens, but I think if he's like has like a 600 OPS in July, I feel like they have to think about it.
Yeah. At the moment, like if JP is our 8 or 9 hitter, it's the best Mariners situation going into a season that you and I have ever had.
Yeah.
Like Sean and I are old enough to remember them making the playoffs before last year in 2022, and you were not. So, this isn't normal. Like just seeing their Pacoda projection for like 93 wins, I don't like it.
I was going to ask you guys about that.
I want to look at it.
I think that's way too high, respectfully.
I do too, and here's my hot take. And I already told you one of these earlier, Matthew. I haven't told Sean this yet. I'm more worried about the pitching than the offense.
I'm worried about the health a lot.
Me too. A lot.
Because I think it's valid because right now, and I had this question I was going to ask you guys, do you think Dane Dunning or Cade Anderson throws more innings for this team in 2026? Because Cade Anderson
Dane Dunning.
Yeah, because Cade Anderson is looking like he's going to have to potentially be depth this year at some point if a pitcher goes down. And like Kirby's had back-to-back years with shoulder problems. Logan had forearm issues last year, which is a precursor to bad things. Brian Wu had his pec thing last year, but he's already had surgery. Bryce Miller has the loose bodies in his elbow that he didn't get surgery for.
Don't know what loose bodies ever really means, but
I mean he's in spring training looking good, but it scares me the depth.
anytime that you can have loose bodies in your body and choose not to get the surgery, you have to do it.
Yeah, that's what
I've
they
always
say.
said that.
Are things just like rattling around in there? I don't understand it. And I don't really want to look it up. So
Yeah. Well, and then like Luis Castillo is comfortably their oldest and probably the worst on paper pitcher going into next year. He's had, just like hamstring stuff. And like if there's any oblique injury for him, that's you're out for 2 months, probably, like with what happens with old pitchers, but he's not even that old.
And any start from Castillo outside of our home park, I don't want him starting.
Yeah.
In a major game.
So I think, it's tricky because it's Dane Dunning, Emerson Hancock, which I'm not talking myself into Emerson Hancock as the main sixth starter for the third
even
straight
with that
year.
velo,
I simply will not do it.
Didn't his velo increase? We saw.
Yeah, you can't make me do it, Sean. I'm not gonna talk myself into it again. And then him and Cooper Criswell as well is on the table.
Cooper Criswell, who I get confused with Cooper Hummel for some. I think that's why I get confused with
the starting the main DH for the 2023 Mariners. Yeah.
Another D-backs trade.
Yep.
Exactly, because it was D-backs. So that's
no.
This is in my head.
The Cooper Criswell thing, and maybe this coping, having him as a swingman, I'm actually kind of stoked on. I don't think he's good. I think he's better than Hancock. Unless Hancock was throwing 99, pitch shapes are still a problem. He's just not a major league caliber starter. And he does not have the breaking ball command to be a good reliever. I think Hancock is on cost.
He doesn't have he doesn't have the slider. And the Mariners not being able to teach him a good slider is an indication because everyone on this team has a pretty damn good slider.
I know, just sit in there with Logan and he'll teach you like 5 different ways how to throw a pitch.
Yeah, like I was gonna say I've talked myself into really being for Criswell as the swing man on opening day. I'm super down for that. I really don't care for Legumina having a spot in this pen or him or Carlos Vargas on opening day. I still am kind of worried about that, but
I won't say my nickname Legumina on the podcast.
I don't think they're good.
Oh, so because they're bad pitchers, you don't want them on. Okay, so we're on the same page.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. They're not good. I don't think they're good pitchers. And there was space to acquire another reliever this offseason. And I said it every podcast, and they simply did not do it.
Oh, they will though. It'll happen.
I'm sure they will, but
so
I know we have to go.
This is going to be the longest podcast Matthew's ever done. And
it is.
One thing I always admire about Matthew's podcast over the last 3 years, how long has it been?
Mm-hmm.
Like 129. You always keep it tight, which when I did a podcast, I always did not keep it tight. So
see, I knew we were going to run really long. I knew we were going to run long. I was prepared.
So here's my thing connected to being worried about pitching. My hot take to you earlier this week, Matthew, is that I think Bryce Miller is going to end up being our closer by the time the playoffs come around.
I love
because I think Munoz has been used like a bar of soap, and I just don't trust any reliever whatsoever. That even if that's not true, do we actually believe Jose Ferrer is going to be good?
I hope.
So
yes.
Pessimistic, Tyler. So
yes. Don't make me call him Lefty Carlos Vargas. Don't make me do it. I won't do it. I just think he's gonna be fine.
I don't know. I refuse to have any takes on relievers, so I have no opinion. I just can't.
Sean, you've always been the smartest one out of all of us. Like,
yeah, give a take.
I can't do it. It's like when we're sitting there, waiting for our fantasy draft, and I'm looking at all the closers, and I'm like, I am not spending money on any of these guys because you could have the best closer in the world, and then he loses the job because he was terrible all of a sudden. Like, I won't do it.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he ate something wrong and then hurt his elbow because he ate like a bad like croque madame or something. Like that's the most closer shit like possible. Like I I like relievers, especially with how many of them there are. Like seeing all the optimism for Ferrer, I'm all for it. Would love if he's a stud. It's still a goddamn reliever who was pitching for the Nats, and he might just be completely screwed because he was in the Nats organization forever. It's like a Mariners hitter that was in the organization forever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
but at least like we have another lefty other than Spire, I guess.
Yeah,
like that's silver lining.
They just acquired. Josh Simpson was the latest trade. He's a lefty.
Yeah, what if Josh Simpson is the best
one? I don't hate Alex Hoppy. I'll say that.
Be honest, I don't even know who that is.
He might be. You'll see him this year, I'm sure.
Okay.
The reason why I don't want to be incredibly optimistic about Ferrer, amongst the reasons that you just listed with the Nationals and him being a reliever, is the Gregory Santos trade just happened. And like there were character concerns there and like work ethic stuff, but he was so good for the White Sox. He was better than Ferrer's ever been on the mound.
Yeah,
and he was garbage for the Mariners and pitched 10 innings.
Did he pitch? Yeah, he barely pitched.
I'm guessing 14 over 2 years. I'm going to look it up right now.
And Gregory Santos was also bad in MLB The Show, which as a reliever should not be possible.
That's insane. That is
isn't that more of a user problem though?
No, because even bad relievers usually I'm like lights out with them. It feels like that's the most realistic part of MLB The Show, quite honestly. And Gregory Santos, I just DFA'd him.
He pitched 14.1 innings over 2 seasons.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah, terrible.
Well, so here's the good, so the pitching, I guess you can always be concerned, but it's hard to be more concerned about pitching than any other team just because of how pitching is. But I think I'd be more optimistic just because we have all these guys in the minors, like hitting wise, that we could trade. I feel like there's a lot of stars that are going to be on, the trade block, if you want to call it that.
They're poised. They're poised to do another.
They could grab another deadline deal, and now because they've done that, they've grabbed big pitch like Castillo. I think because they did that, there's more and they grabbed Josh Naylor. I think we're more confident that they might do something than we've ever been before.
Yeah, there's more of a contingency just with having the prospects available. And Kate Anderson, Kate Anderson landing on this team because they got the number 3 overall pick is incredible.
Yeah.
He's already all the videos I've seen from spring training from him and the way people are talking about him, they're like, okay, yeah, this guy is exactly what they thought he was going to be, almost ready already coming out of LSU.
Yeah, I think Sean, that's a good point, and Maddie, the Anderson point. I think he has something to say this year for sure. I just really hope, and this is just Mariners trauma. I really hope. I'm just praying he's not the next Danny Holtzen, who also was.
I was waiting for a Holtzen to get thrown out there.
Yeah, the Holtzen quota wasn't fulfilled on the episode, so that we hit it.
Yeah,
almost 2 hours.
But I need to. I need to, as the oldest brother, before we sign off, just remind you guys the trauma is here, and yet also this is the most optimistic I've ever been about the Mariners. There's
saying something.
The excuse for this team not having success this year is purely because of health and random crap, which is always what baseball is. Whereas almost pretty much every season before this, it was because John Stanton is a broke POS and because they just weren't good at team building. And that's not the case this year. They're set up for everything this year, which is incredible. Which just makes it that much more stressful because it's like they have an opportunity. They have an opportunity this year to have the best season of all time for the franchise.
Yeah, you know what? Their win division odds 61.6% according to Fangraphs, which I don't care for.
I mean, I was gonna say compared to the rest of the division,
it's the division's garbage. But that's why
bad.
Yeah. We've never been poised to lose a division like this before.
But
With the
that's
division
why
being
it's,
this bad and the team being this good.
The way you
We've
framed
been,
that.
We've been
It's true.
rewatching. We've been rewatching Ted Lasso, and they have that whole quote at the end, like "It's the hope that kills you." So that's the Mariners thing right there.
Yeah.
I'm currently wearing an
great.
Arsenal shirt right now. I've already been through this with my favorite soccer team this year.
Okay.
So I'm just
Yeah.
transferring this to the Mariners this year. And Maddie, I don't want to derail this anymore, but
No, you're good. I wanted to ask one more question. You can't talk about it. You just have to answer this. Who do you think gets more plate appearances this year, Luke Raley or Dominic Canzone?
Canzone.
Yeah, Canzone.
I think so too, but I'm here for a Luke Raley resurgent season, and he just plays full-time right field. I'm so down for that.
I love
but
that.
It would be awesome. Canzone being just a full-time DH, it'd be great. I'm skeptical on Robles being good this season, but I don't want to even get into that. So I will cut it here before this gets too long, but I appreciate everyone for listening. If you've been this far, thank you so much. I want to do this again with both of you. This was super fun. I'm glad I unveiled the kind of mini project I was working on the past few weeks. I will unleash it on the Mariners internet this week, but I will leave you, of course, as always, with a final Go Mariners.